We did it. We've won. But at what cost? That whale oil was supposed to take us through the long darkness, and now it's all up in flames. Well, better that than the entire town being destroyed, I suppose. But Kaliana, I pray that she is alive and well and just taking care of the wounded in the town hall. Our home is gone. Everything destroyed. Not that worldly things matter that much. At the end of the day, the only thing that matters is the people. The people that you love. And that's Kaliana. I see that. I see that. She must be all right. Now I must find Roshek as well and see how he has done. This is not over yet. I am certain of as much. We must find a way to bring back the light. Otherwise, if threats like this won't kill us, then the long dark and the cold surely will. This is Red Moon Role-Playing.
The air is thick with the sounds of crackling timber and painful wailing. The town of East Haven is largely no longer completely aflame, but most of the western part of the town is still smouldering. Everywhere are people moving around the ruins, townsfolk looking confused, militia injured. You, Roshek, are standing there, surrounded by the sounds of the aftermath of a battle. People shouting, people wailing for help. Numerous corpses are around you. You were able to use magic to get out of the way of some of those blows. Most of these people did not have such a luxury. Bodies are thrown against buildings, broken in two by falling rubble, slashed by those great talons. Ahead of you is a small crater, all that remains of the whale oil storehouse after it exploded. In the gloom, just by the side, you see the remains of a great beast. It is still largely whole. It seems like the final blow did gouge out some of the creature's side. It is not an organic being, so most of its remains just scattered everywhere. Large parts of Chardalin, that's what Roman told you this material was, just sort of scattered everywhere. You see movement here and there, but what are you doing right now?
I stand and I stare at this big husk now lying there, the flames smouldering surrounding it. I flex my hands and I feel the intermingling sweat and blood soaking through parts of my armor and my furs. I am warm from all the action. I see the breath in front of me. I was able to do some things that, well, things that I've been dreaming about. Moving freely, moving quickly. When I was stuck in that sickbed, I seem to have gained something. Whatever it is that helped me out, that pulled me out, that voice, it is now also helping me move here, between places, making me slippery, avoiding getting caught. Is that what I'm supposed to do? I start walking slowly up towards this great husk.
Truly a magnificent beast. What an interesting material. You pause by a lovely scale, now broken and damaged, but still shining with a sort of black luminescence. You could easily use this for an adornment, melt it down, make yourself a lovely brooch or a sword. What a marvellous reflective material.
I look at the distorted reflection of myself in it, kneel down, just put my hand on it and feel it.
It's warm to the touch.
to think they were able to infuse this whole thing with life of some sort. And then I brush it off, the thought, everything. I'd better help these people. I'm their guest. They showed me every hospitality. I look around for something to do, maybe a bucket to grab to help douse some fires, or a person that I could help get into safety.
You'll find people looking for help, and if you go and help them, it's not too difficult to start calling to medics, although there don't seem to be that many. It occurs to you that Roman and Kaliana are, of course, the healing priests, and neither of them are here right now. You wonder where they are. You leave the husk for now, although you do see several individuals in confusion just sort of going over, poking at the pieces, someone picking one up and pocketing it.
As I see that, I say, "You better leave that be for now. That's an evil material."
It looks like a militia person. They're wearing armor. They look at you a little confused. What? What do you mean?
The material it's made of. It's Chardolin. It's a bad crystal. It'll affect you. You won't be able to think straight soon enough.
How do you know that? It's only a small piece. Maybe it could be valuable. Maybe we could use it. We're going to need money. A lot of money.
Keep it there for now. You could collect it together later, but don't stick anything with you. You should in fact make sure that no one else does as well. We met the Dwarga, the people that made this. That alone, the fact that they made it, should tell you to steer clear of it.
Would you like to roll either a persuasion check or an intimidation check?
I would. I'm happy to roll a intimidation check. As I stand there, I also use my cantrip, prestidigitation. Make some small sparks bounce off the pieces lying on the ground.
In that case, roll your check with advantage.
24.
The man looks at you for a moment, as if he wishes to challenge you. It's in the eyes. But then, that look is replaced by weariness. He drops the piece on the ground. Whatever you say. Dangerous, all right. And he starts calling out to others, sort of telling them, "It's dangerous, don't go near it." And people seem to be listening, although again, everyone is kind of quite unorganized at this point in time. Again, there are so many dead, especially here. 10, 20. You can count at least 30 bodies just by looking around.
It's a shame. The village was small enough as it was. I wonder how it would be to rule a place such as this. Maybe as some sort of mayor. It would be much easier than my kingdom. My kingdom. I think I have to get back there somehow. I think to myself, as I start looking for something else to do. Even if I'm no healer, I can wrap a wound with bandages.
And you will find someone on the ground to assist. Eventually you'll notice Captain Imdra moving around in the distance. She's moving with a limp, and one of her eyes is closed, but she's on her feet. Meanwhile, Roman, you are running far from most of the scene of the carnage, although even you notice that even the eastern part of town has not been spared. It is not quite as horrific as the west. After all, that is where you made the dragon land. But there is still a line of fires starting to cease to burn, even in the eastern part of town as you head to the town hall. You see a great deal of people moving around in the darkness. Someone you know is that one of the fishermen calling for his wife. You know his wife. He doesn't seem to know where she is. But what are you doing? You are heading to the town hall. Are you even paying any attention to the people moving around you in chaos and confusion?
I want to help them, I really do, but I need to find Kaliana. I need to make sure that she's all right. I am not going to be able to focus on anything until I find her. I cannot lose her. I really cannot lose her. So I'm just hurrying and I'm panting because I'm running around in this rather heavy armor and with all this equipment that I have with me. And I suppose I reach it eventually. How does it look?
The town hall is still standing. It doesn't look like it was touched, for the most part. That seems good to you. You briefly take in this scene and just glance once again towards the western part of town where you can still see smoke rising in the air.
I'm not going to sleep tonight, that much is for sure. There's so many to take care of. I rush toward the door to open it and to hopefully... I just pray to Lathander that I will see Kaliana standing there, taking care of some poor villager, and that she will be fine and that nothing will have happened to her. I just pray for that. Lathander, please. And I open the door.
You open the door to once again see the great hall that is the entranceway to the town hall. You see huddled in corners a lot of people. Maybe 100, 200, you can't quite tell. Lots of the women and children, the elderly. The militia of East Haven is largely made of the youngest, strongest folk, of course. There are some guardsmen at the front as you come in. They just nod and let you through. You do see in a corner, there are a bunch of people covered in blankets. And there you see Kaliana, leaning on the ground, giving someone some water. She is slightly dishevelled, covered in a bit of soot. But she is there.
And I get down on one knee and I just say, "Thank you, Lathander." And then I get up and then I rush towards her. "Kaliana, you're all right." "Oh, thank Lathander. Thank Ilmater."
"Roman, you're here. You're alive. Oh my goodness, Roman, this is extremely serious. I don't... There's so many.
And I just move up and I embrace her quickly and then I let her go and... Oh, how can I help? What can I do?
"We need to move immediately. Some of the others have been saying it's not safe yet. Is it safe?"
"We have destroyed it. It is dead, but its carcass lies there, the Chardalin. You know what it can do. We have to neutralize that somehow, but I suppose as long as no one touches it, they will be okay. But there is no more threats waiting there."
She looks a little confused. "What do you mean, Chardalin?"
"It is made of Chardalin. It is made of that damned material. The Duergar, they built it. It is not good that it lies in our town. It will find its way into people's homes, I'm afraid. And then we don't really know what's going to happen."
She looks very concerned as she nods quickly, rising up. She says to the speaker, who you do notice is somewhere in the distance, Speaker Daneth Whalen. "Speaker, I'm 10 people with me. We're heading there right now. We need to focus on the wounded. Oh, Captain Imdra, do you know where she is?"
"She was at the scene. She helped us take it down. I'm sure she's still there."
"Very well. Roman, with me. We need to move there quickly. I will do my best to lay down some wardings if this is true about the carcass. People cannot go anywhere near it, but if we keep them away, it might be okay. Let's just leave at once."
"Yes, let's," I say, and I begin leading the way back to the western part of the town and to the Chardalin carcass that lies there.
As you go back, moving towards the carnage, she does lean in a little and go, "I'm so glad you're alive. Does it even matter what happened on your scouting mission? I imagine it wasn't very important after all."
"Well, so many things happened, but I can tell you about it later. Our house is gone. Sorry."
She looks a little disappointed for a few moments, but then just nods. "A house is just a house. It's the people that matter. I'm glad you're alive. I didn't know if we would survive this, if I'm honest. I had doubts."
But we did. But we have so many that we have to take care of. We can talk more later," I say, and I smile. And I sort of adjust a lock of hair in her forehead that's a little bit disheveled. "There, that looks better. Come."
And so, your group, consisting of yourself, Kaliana, and at least 10 folk of the militia, begin to move to the scene. You will arrive soon, and you will begin ferrying the wounded back to the town hall. After all, your home no longer exists. Kaliana will also begin laying down some wards. This uses up a lot of her power. With the wards down, and the militia given orders, a perimeter is put around the carcass so that no one is approaching for now. While this is happening, Roshek, you will be present to see Roman arrive again. You notice him and Kaliana doing some things, but you eventually do find a moment where you can go to Roman and speak to him. What do you say?
I suppose we did it, somewhat.
I put a hand on your shoulder. Yes, Roshek. We did it. Again. No one can stop us.
Yeah. Fair few fell, though. I've done what I can to just get people safe, but... well, I guess it's gonna take some time to rebuild.
Yeah. Especially under these circumstances and this darkness. I fear for the future of this town, to be honest. I think we will need to get help from the other 10 towns. Well, however many are left now after this attack. Well, but first and foremost, we have to secure the Chardlin, make sure that no one touches it. Kaliana has hopefully that under control. And then we need to help the militia keep this place safe and take care of the wounded. There's so many wounded. So many.
You should probably collect the whole thing, drag it out onto the ice, and then sink it.
Something like that may become necessary. I will consult with Kaliana and see what we can come up with. With this amount, we may need the help from others as well. Find some way of rendering it, well, not inert, but at least making sure that it doesn't disappear. I mean, such a small quantity, all that is required are shards. It's enough to corrupt a person, and here we have an entire dragon made out of it. I know not how we will do this, Roshek, but I know we have to. We will find a way. We always do.
Even if the people here don't touch it, as soon as word spreads, someone's gonna come. Someone bad, probably. Well, what can I help you with?
You can maybe help Captain Imdra in making sure that no one, rushes off with any of the Chardlin. Maybe see to our defenses. We are weak now. Much, much weaker than we were before. The Duergar are gone, but there might be others.
There's always others. Fine. I'll speak to the captain and see what I can do.
Thank you, Roshek. And if you happen to see Velen, well, we should meet with her. We should see what she wants and what we can do. I just hope she doesn't have anything that urgent. We will need to do some things here first.
Well, probably finding that person and the expedition that she was looking for. Sounds like a small task.
Right. Well, we shall have to take that one when we have time then.
I certainly hope you'll take it when you have time, a voice suddenly interrupts the two of you. And there, standing close by, is this old woman with the eye patch. You hadn't noticed that before, Roman, but now you see she is indeed one-eyed. It appears she was standing there in the dark nearby listening to your whole conversation.
Thank you for what you did to protect the town. We seem to have survived this against all odds. At least for now.
Well, it wasn't too difficult a thing to do. I am, after all, an accomplished wizard. Still, unfortunately, I need to talk to you both immediately. My task is very pressing. We do not have time to wait for you to rebuild East Haven. No offense.
Well, tell us then, what is it? We owe you that much. I cannot guarantee that we will be able to embark immediately, though. You must understand that there's only me and Kaliana who can care for these people. There's so many wounded.
I stand there weighing from foot to foot, brushing off my furs, the dust that settles and the snow on them, looking at her a bit skeptically.
Velen wrinkles her nose a little when you, Roman, mention not being able to leave straight away. She rolls her eyes and gestures to a nearby ruin it once was someone's home. For the moment, as she gestures for you to follow, you notice, Roshek, that the captain does already seem to be talking to Kaliana, and there is a perimeter being strengthened around the ruins of the carcass, as most of the wounded are being taken away. The dead, for the moment, seem to be being left. You also, Roman, notice that Kaliana has people and is mainly moving people. So for the moment, maybe you two aren't needed straight away.
Well, yes. We have time to listen to what you have to say, Velen.
You follow her into this little ruin, for the moment being by yourselves almost, although you notice that there are some of these dog sleds nearby, and some of these creatures, which appear to be kobolds. Now you look under the hoods, Roman. Small little reptilian beings, a little bit like a dragon, but, well, far from the majesty and might of an actual dragon. Still, in number, they can be formidable.
Yes, I have heard that they can be quite challenging when they work together. But concerned, they're normally considered, well, pests or things to be slain for honor and the like. But these ones seem to be friendly.
Icewind kobolds, you know, are accepted in the 10 towns. They come down every now and again, offering things for trade. No one considers them a great harm.
That's right. Of course. Things are different here. What you were in the other part of Faerun isn't necessarily what you're going to be here. There's many people who have done horrific things back there, and here they have a new start, and everything is, well, they don't bring it with them, necessarily. It's a new start for all of us.
You notice there are only 2 sleds, while before you recall there being 3. Roshik, of course, you can make a guess what happened to the 3rd one the last time you saw it. It was deep in battle. You'd be very surprised if it still exists.
You lost some people too?
Oh, yes, well, it was a little bit of a last-moment thing, sending in a sled of kobolds to stop a few people, but it seemed to work, didn't it, Master Half-Orc?
I suppose at that, they owe you something? Why do they follow you? You pay them?
Yes, I do pay them a little bit, and if all goes well, they're all going to get some very good rewards, isn't that right? The kobolds will go, yep, rewards, great rewards, take back to clan, yes. And, well, it's a shame I lost 2 of them. I could possibly resurrect one, but, maybe it's, for the moment, better that I lay them to rest.
I look at the creatures as they run about, doing their things. I don't pay them any specific heed.
Do I see anything that I can do for any of them? Do they seem to be in need of any kind of healing or the like?
3 of them seem absolutely fine, just checking the dog sleds, making sure the boxes are all still tightly weighed down. They're carrying little wooden spears, otherwise they are covered in thick cloaks. One of them is standing very still, just by the 2nd sled. They look a little bit odd.
What is up with it? What has happened? I look to Velen.
What, Gree? Oh, well, Gree's dead, so no need to worry about him.
Oh, that's a pity.
That's all right, you don't mind, do you, Gree? She looks over to Gree. Gree slowly nods its head in a very rictus fashion.
It has been brought back. Some form of necromancy.
You could say a form of necromancy, or you could just say necromancy, my dear priest.
Well, yes, necromancy then. That is what you are?
Of sorts. Oh dear, is this going to be a problem? The agreement was you were going to listen to what I said without any bias. Are we going to start being biased now? A little bit of necromancy going to scare you away?
You promised that it wasn't going to be anything nefarious, and I trust that you will hold your word to that. Do tell us what it is that you have in mind, and how we can repay you for your help and for the sacrifice of your dear kobolds here.
Does this have something to do with the person you were looking for and the expedition?
In a manner of speaking. Rather, it's not her expedition. It's my expedition. I require 2 people such as yourselves to accompany me on my expedition. And if you do, you will share in the great rewards that there shall be.
What sort of rewards are we talking about?
She looks around a little before nodding. Well, I suppose if you're going to attack me, now would be the best time to do it, so hopefully you won't. First of all, let's begin from the beginning. Are you familiar at all with the Netheril?
The Netheril? I try to jog my memory. The Netheril, or something with wizards?
You can roll me a history check.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I know anything as well.
That's 4.
And I roll 4.
Netheril. Both of you think sounds a bit like necromancy. Necromancers, maybe? But otherwise the word means nothing to you.
No, I don't know anything about Netheril.
Something with magic, right? Magic stuff. Necromancy?
Something with magic and necromancy, he says. Something with magic and My goodness. Okay, history lesson number 1. The Netheril were the most powerful civilization of magic users the world has ever known. Necromancy. Goodness me. She looks quite flabbergasted that you do not know what she's talking about.
And I kind of huff and puff a little bit. If they were so powerful, how come they're not around anymore?
Because they were wiped out by a magical calamity, the likes of which they could not have prepared for. One of their great sorcerer kings tried to usurp magic itself from the god of magic. It didn't go very well for them, unfortunately, but until that point, their magic rivaled the gods.
I suppose they left a lot of things behind then.
Yes. Their empire fell over 1,000 years ago.
And that's where... Well, are we supposed to go there, or...
My dear boy, the Netheril Empire. We're not going to go to the Netheril Empire. You're already in it. It spanned pretty much everywhere. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Can you understand things on that scale?
History was never my strong suit. Sorry. But do continue.
Well, I'm digressing. Suffice to say, the Netheril were sorcerer kings, and their magic was the stuff of gods. With me so far.
Right.
Their ruins and their legacy shaped the entire known world of today. All magic that we know is but a fraction of what they used to know. Necromancy is but one school of magic. They were masters of all the schools. Do you understand?
I sit down on a half-broken chair and I rub my hands together. Right.
Powerful mages. Got it.
Exactly. Their cities were wondrous. They floated in the air as if it was nothing.
Of course they did.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is that not impressive enough for you? By the way, at this point I realize I don't actually know your names. I've introduced myself. Who are you two?
I am Roshik.
And I'm Roman. I serve Lathander.
Yes, very good. Serving Lathander. Wonderful. Yes. Roshik and Roman. Very well. That'll do. So, there were several capital cities of the great empire. Most of the cities on the ground were merely in servitude to these great sorcerer cities, do you understand? Most of them are long lost to the sea of time. They were either destroyed when the empire fell. That was the period where magic briefly no longer existed. I'm sure you can understand why that was.
Yes.
Because of the calamity?
Yes, yes, dear boy, keep up, keep up. If they attempted to usurp magic from Mystara, the god of magic and the weave, and she stopped them doing it, how did she do it? That's right, she sacrificed herself. Do you not know your law? Goodness me, am I going to have to hold a history class for the pair of you?
Just get to what you want, really.
She gives you a very angry glare, saying, you know, maybe I'll ignore you and just bring your priest friend along. He's slightly more polite.
Well, if you're interested in teaching, then by all means. It's just that we're sitting here in a burning village.
She smirks a little and goes, yes, village. A small burning village. Nothing to be that bothered about. Goodness me. I'm trying to... Okay, I see. I'm going to have to go with the material game. One of the lost cities of the Nephril is Yithrin. Yithrin has never been found, unlike many of the others. It was believed to be lost somewhere in the far north. Are we beginning to understand?
So that is what you were trying to find, what you and your expedition was looking for.
Correction. It has already been found. I know exactly where it is. It's just getting there and getting in that are the tricky parts.
It usually is.
Now, at this point, it seems you're not going to be interested in magical lore. So how about this? The cities of the Nephril. I just told you they're magic-rivaled gods. Are neither of you interested in uncovering magical artifacts that might rival the gods?
If there's anything that can help the town and get it back on its feet and perhaps do something about this darkness, then yes, I would be very interested in that.
I'll do you one better than your silly little town. You could indeed deal with the darkness. I guess neither of you are familiar with Mythalars. No, of course not. Short explanation. Cities floating in the sky is not something we can do today. Maybe a small castle or a small house, but an entire city. The magical energy required was immense. The artifacts that did such magic were known as Mythalars. They did this magic by being able to fundamentally control the elements, doing things like making things float in the air, and changing the environment, changing the weather. Are you beginning to catch on, Roman?
I'm starting to nod slowly.
So then, yes. Then their power could indeed help make things better.
Indeed, if there was anything that could relieve your little curse of the sun, it would be the magic of a Mythalar.
Not even Auril could stand against that.
And do you think it's one of those that has created this darkness? Somehow corrupted, perhaps?
No. They do not do that sort of thing. That would require someone to be in the city doing it, and I can assure you, while it's not impossible someone could be there right now, it's very unlikely they would be the sort of people who would care about blanketing your little villages in darkness. No. It could undo it. I'm pretty sure I know who's doing this all, by the way. I'm pretty sure your locals know it as well. It's not that much of a grasp of intellect to decide.
What, Auril? The Frostmaiden?
Well, of course. Who else but a god could do something like this?
Yes. Well, with this power we might be able to stand against her and reverse what she has done to the 10 towns, to Icewind Dale, to East Haven.
Strange, though. Why would a god bother with, like what you said, a few small villages?
You seem, Roshek, to be misunderstanding the situation. How long has he been here, Roman?
Oh, he basically came yesterday.
Oh, well, in that case, I'll forgive you. You've told him it's not just your villages, it's the entire Icewind Dale that's in darkness, Roshek, not just the 10 towns.
Oh, right. I racked my brain as if I actually knew that much about Icewind Dale at all. It's been such a long time since I was anywhere in these parts. But I try to catch on with what she's saying.
She nods after a moment. Again, she seems quite irritated during a lot of this conversation, but then perhaps that is just her manner. Good, good. Okay, we're finally catching up. Very good. So, there you have it. I present to you Roman and his friend Roshek. A deal. If you help me find this place and enter it, the Miphala, well, I'm sure we'll be able to work out how to use it. And it could save your whole little 10 towns. I don't care about that. I simply require the finding of the city, and of course some of the items within.
Well, what particular item are you looking for?
Several. You don't need to know that for now.
You're not planning to do anything nefarious with that, are you?
And what if I am? I'm not going to go around destroying your little shacks if that's what you're worried about.
Well, enough about this then. Certainly, it would be very good to do something about the situation that we are facing. We could help a lot of people, and we could especially help East Haven. Let us try to just take care of things here first, make sure that the immediate needs are covered. What do you say, Roshek? Shall we join our necromantic friend on this little journey?
I look slowly between the two, finding myself, against my will, being slightly intrigued and feeling the lusts of exploring and discovering more of this power that I have, and maybe also a way of either getting back to where I was, a stronger person that would be more capable of dealing with what I did, or even just stealing more power from this being that I have. I am starting to enjoy my new abilities, and I start nodding slowly. Yeah, what harm could it do, really?
Well, good. We seem to have reached a bit of an accord. We leave tomorrow. You can do whatever you want this evening, help out everyone, but we leave tomorrow. Time is of the essence. I am sure you understand that, Roman. Your people need the help as soon as possible. We can't dilly-dallying helping just the people here. You have your whole 10 towns to think about after all.
You have a point. We shall see you in the morning then.
Very good, very good. Well, in that case, I suppose I shall camp outside the walls. I don't think the inn's going to be welcoming at the moment, and yes, I'm glad that we've come to an accord. I have a feeling, even though I have greatly helped your little town, people probably won't be welcoming of me. I spoke to one or two people briefly. Interesting how you said you didn't have any visitors over the last few weeks, Roman. I wonder why you left out one little fact.
Well, it didn't end well.
No, but it would have been useful to know. Still, now I know. I will wait outside the walls. Come along, kobolds, come along. She clicks her fingers and begins to get the dogs, which were at this point sleeping, back on their feet, and the 2 sleds begin moving with these little kobolds getting on quickly. Well, 3 of them get on quickly. One of them sort of shambles and gets on slower than the others. They begin leaving the ruin and riding out through the rest of the town, heading to the outer walls, which of course, sadly now, have quite a few holes in them.
I brush myself off and stand up, feeling the pain of a few wounds as they open and my muscles being sore, bruises. Well, what did she mean by that?
Which part?
The last one. The visitor.
Well, there was a wizard that came to East Haven, and, well, he was found to be doing something not good. I think Imdra is the one who knows the details of it. He was sacrificed to Oral. He was burned at a stake. The towns have fallen quite deep in despair, and have been attempting to do various things to please the Frostmaiden, to try to get her to lift the darkness that she has led over our, well, town. It's not working, but it hasn't stopped them from continuing to try. I'm vehemently against the barbaric practices, but they have made it quite clear that they are not particularly interested in the opinions of a cleric of Lathander, especially one that cannot bring the light back.
I scoff. People doing things out of desperation. Keeping doing it even if it's not working. It's just, I don't know, pitiful, isn't it?
It is madness, but how can you blame them? We haven't seen the sun for years. They are desperate. They are desperate. But, Roshek, we have a chance here. We have an opportunity, perhaps, to actually save Icewind Dale. If what Velen says is true, if these kinds of artifacts, if these kinds of powers are available, hidden, if we can make use of them, we truly could bring back the light. And that would be quite an accomplishment for two old friends.
My face splits into a grin. You're right. And I put my hand on your splint mailed shoulder. You're right. It would be an interesting expedition going with you again on something like this. Bringing the light back. Feels awfully familiar.
It's what we used to do, isn't it? I nod and I say, well, we have not much time left to us now. We must finish what we have to do here in the town. I have some goodbyes to say. I certainly need to speak to Kalyana and see if there's anyone else we can help. And then we need to get ready for the journey tomorrow. Perhaps see if there's any kind of equipment or the like that we can still procure. I'm not so sure that normal commerce is still going on, but, well, given our mission, perhaps they would be willing to offer us some support. Let's see.
Sure. Right. I'll do what I can.
That's good to hear.
I accompany Roman out. See what else I can do to help in the village. And yes, if there are any merchants here, I'll see what I can deal with there as well.
Sadly, your search for merchants will be useless. There is not a single shop open, and no one has commerce on mind. You're not even sure, in the current state of this town, that your items would even be able to be sold for anything beyond a couple of gold pieces, and you know that some of them are worth hundreds. But this is the situation you find. Captain Imdra is trying to maintain a perimeter around the carcass. This is currently working. And the rest of the militia, what remains, are doing their best to escort people to safety and shelter. A large number of injured individuals are being moved to the town hall, and failing that, the White Lady Inn, to be treated. There is absolutely no way, Roman, you know, for everyone to be healed by magic. You can maybe do 2 or 3 people each, and there's at least 50 or 60 injured. So most will have to make do with traditional medicine and traditional medical care. There also seem to be a great deal of people heading to the town hall. Something seems to be occurring there. In this situation, what will the two of you do? Roshek, what will you do?
After I've seen to whatever I can do, I mean, small things for help. It's not like people are gonna stand out in the snow and start rebuilding houses. I'm asking Roman a little bit more about these sacrifices and who decides when someone is going to be sacrificed.
It's a lottery. We all have a ticket.
You too?
Yes. This wizard, of course, didn't have that. Prevented us from having to choose one of the villagers. I haven't been chosen yet, and hope I won't, obviously.
If you were, would you go along placidly?
No.
No, didn't think so.
Of course, Roman, you know that while you could certainly resist, you would get great resentment.
Yes, but I serve Lathander, not Auril. Lathander will not let his servant die for this pointless barbarity that is being done here. No, I had committed to resisting at all cost. Not killing anyone, of course, but resisting.
And how long and how many has it been now?
How many has it been?
It's probably been about 8-9 months, so there's been 8 sacrifices.
8.
Well, if you excuse me, I'm gonna try and find a calm place and sit down a bit. I'm going to try and get out of my armor and my furs and see if I can just rest and tend to my wounds a bit, and after that I'm curious. I'm curious if I can somehow contact this voice, this thing, the source of my powers, the thing that wants to be entertained.
And so, Roshuk, you will go and find a quiet place, which is very easy now that so many buildings are in rubble. Roman, what will you do?
I will find Kaliana, and still having some magics left and being specialized in healing and life, I will heal as many as I can. I will use my preserve life ability. I will use my prayers of healing, my cure light wounds. I will use it all until I can do no more. And then I will try to help Kaliana just with normal medicine, the other ways of healing people, of trying to stabilize their wounds and trying to prevent more from dying here this night.
And you will do your best, healing maybe another 5 to 10 people before your entire magic pool is spent. There are still at least 50 or 60 injured. But with Kaliana, you will do your best. You are beginning to get a sense of scale. You think the total death toll is somewhere around 130. Mostly of the militia, which has now almost been halved, but a few 50-60 townsfolk as well.
That is truly a calamity. I'm not sure that this town will ever be able to recover from that. But I must try. I must try to help them. I must try to bring back the light.
You are, of course, at the town hall. That is where Kaliana is, so when you are doing this and helping, it doesn't take long for you to be caught up in what happens next. As I said, people were heading there. There is a lot of din, a lot of commotion. There must be about 200 people pressing in here now. People are speaking in raised voices, speaking with the speaker. What are we going to do now, speaker? Action must be taken! We must leave. If we head for Bryn Shander right now, before in the morning, we will be able to get there in time and maybe we can do something. But what about our homes? What about the children? People are arguing, getting angry. The speaker is doing his best to maintain some decorum. Now, everyone, let us all maintain calm and stick together, and it is important at this point to stick together. What do? You can let things happen, of course. You are here with Kaliana helping people, or you could get involved. It's your choice.
I shall stand up next to the speaker. I understand exactly how you feel. Just know that we are not the only ones who have been hit. This thing, it hit Dogan's Hold and it hit Goodmead on the way here as well. You can head to Bryn Shander, sure, but you're not going to be alone. There's many people most likely headed there now. You're probably not going to get the kind of reception you're hoping for. It might be better for us all to stick together and to try to rebuild what we can rebuild. To try to save what we can save of our town.
A man with a great beard steps forward. So you're saying those who wish to head to Bryn Shander should do so? Very well, the priest says it's fine. Any who wish to stay can stay, but those of us with no homes, you must understand, priest, we don't have time to rebuild. It takes days to build one house. You're saying that we should just camp in the middle of the snow while we wait? No, Bryn Shander will have room. They have to have room.
So you want to camp outside the walls of Bryn Shander instead, being looked down upon as as someone who's coming to take their already stretched resources. Would you prefer that, truly?
The man glares at you a little. Oh, so you're saying we should just sit here and wait to be helped? Who's going to help us? You? You're going to rebuild my house in a day?
No, we will. The town will. You will work together. There's many still alive, and there's much that you can do. There's much that we can all do together. Right, Speaker?
Yes, of course, the priest is correct. This is exactly what we should be doing during this time. What about the dragon? What are we doing about that? Why are the militia guarding it? It looks like it could be valuable. Maybe we could use some of that. We'll need to use that to buy back the whale oil. Another person interrupts. Yes, the whale oil. Whose idea was it to blow up the whale oil? My goodness, we now have maybe barely 5 months remaining.
It's important that you know that material, it is extremely dangerous. It corrupts minds. It will make you lose yourselves. It will make you do things that you can't imagine now. It is dangerous. It must be kept away. Yes, perhaps it has value, but if you even touch it, it will corrupt you. So please, I beg of you, do not touch it.
There's a lot of grumbling, a lot of arguing. One person comes forward, an old lady. Why exactly are we paying attention to the priest of Lathander? After all, he sees himself as so much better than all of us. You voiced your discontent with the sacrifice, because you think you're better than us. We are fine to die, but you believe we should go against all the others for your god. Where is your god? Where were they protecting our homes?
I understand your frustration. I pray for Lathander to come every day. But Aurel's power is strong, it seems. But the sacrifices haven't helped. They haven't done anything. It is not doing anything except making us lose ourselves, making us lose who we are, who we were. We are falling into this pit of desperation, of barbarity, of losing everything that we had. It is not the way. Surely you must see that. It cannot be kept up. One day there will be no one left. You must find another way to get out of this. And that's what I intend to do. I intend to find some other way of bringing back the lights. My friend, Roshek, you might have met him. We are to leave in the morning. And we will find there's rumors of a very powerful artifact that might be able to help us. Something connected to the Netheril Empire. It's said to be around this land. If we can locate it, we might actually be able to stand up against Aurel's great power.
Roll me a persuasion check.
24.
There is some grumbling, but some people do start quieting down a little. There's a little bit of tumult here and there. The old lady glares at you. You have not convinced her, you know, but some of the others seem to be listening to you. The speaker does come over and go quietly in your ear. Very well said, although maybe a little less on the sacrifice fund thing. I mean, again, Roman, you know that we don't really approve of it, but remember, we need to be careful. You've said from the start how you will defy it, but we don't want the other towns attacking us for going against the Conclave's decision. You understand that. Diplomacy is diplomacy.
Yes, you are trading away your humanity to protect life. I understand it. I do not agree with it.
He glares at you just a little. You keep ignoring that it is only the villages that can that give life. The ones that can't were never expected to do it. It was our responsibility as the best thriving towns.
Yes.
It would be easy for us to give a slice of meat. That's the whole point.
I understand that you have to be able to sleep at night, and I wouldn't wish to be in your shoes. It must be very, very difficult. But think back to a few years ago and think how you would have thought about what is happening here. Would you have approved of it? I sincerely doubt it. But regardless, we have had this discussion in the past, and it will not lead to anything now. Things have to change, fundamentally. I must find something to bring back the light. We have some kind of lead. that may be able to help us do something about this. I know not if it will work, but it is better than continuing to sit here in the darkness and sacrificing all of the people that we love to please the Frostmaiden.
The speaker kind of nods and remarks, "Well, you make a point, although you are slightly melodramatic. We don't have time to sacrifice every single person in the village, Roman. If this doesn't work, then we'll all be dead long before then, you know that."
Well, who says that you would keep up this slow pace of sacrifice? Perhaps someone will get the bright idea of maybe sacrificing 10 people at a time, or 100, who knows. When people get desperate, they get crazy ideas.
That wouldn't happen.
I'm sure you would have said the same thing about human sacrifice before all this happened as well. It wouldn't happen, not here.
He looks a little irritated with you. You roll an insight check.
22.
You know he has no answer for you, but maybe you feel some pity. He is, after all, the speaker, and you know that while you think the whole thing is barbaric, it was agreed upon by all 10 speakers as the only possible thing to do. Your insight knows that if they had not done this, there's no saying riots wouldn't have started much earlier. Whatever you think of the sacrifices, one voice in your head, a voice that spoke to you often, long ago, says that it has worked. It appeased people. What do you think of that voice in your head these days?
I let it get the best of me then. I let it change my values, let it change the way that I solved problems. I vowed to not let it get the better of me again. And yes, I fully understand the situation the speaker is in. As I told him, I wouldn't wish to be in his shoes. It is a dreadfully difficult position to be in, and it must keep him awake at night. I'm sure it would with me. But that doesn't mean that it's right. It doesn't mean that it is good or just. It doesn't mean that it's something that I can just quietly accept. I will, as I have, challenge it, but I do not expect that they will change anything. That is why I must use this opportunity now with Velen. If what she says is true, if we truly can use the powers of the Netheril to counter Oral, well, I would be happy to lay down my life for any chance of bringing back the light.
With your insight roll, you know the speaker agrees with you, but he is trying his best to, as you said, be the speaker. Quietly, he says to you, "I know you're right, Roman, I know you are, but what can I do? But I think your words might have helped a little, hopefully. You're sure you're going away somewhere to find something that stops all this? Is it really as simple as that?"
I don't know. Velen seems to think so. Powers of the Netheril, powerful mages that lived here 1,000 years ago. They had powers that could make cities float. They could control the weather. If anyone can bring back the light, it is them. We will see what we can find. Try to keep the community together. And please look out for Kaliana. Don't let her push herself too hard. She wants to help everyone, you know.
Well, I only hope that you are quick. I've been speaking to the captain. It sounds like your plan was a good one, but you understand the cost. We have emergency supplies of whale oil for maybe 6 months, more like 2 or 3. We will then run out of fuel. We will not be able to keep this many people warm.
No. We must come back before then. We must solve this before then. If I cannot find what Velen thinks is out there, I shall endeavor to go to one of the other towns and try to negotiate some kind of caravan, some kind of supply with oil for you. We have to be able to survive as long as possible. We have to keep hope alive. We have to keep the flame of hope alive.
The meeting continues, quieter, with more calm voices. It would appear, Roman, thanks to your efforts, that not many will be leaving, but unfortunately you are not able to stop at least 10 or 20 people deciding they would rather risk the capital than stay here in ruins. But most, it seems, will try and do their best to get through. You fear that in the next few days, some of the injured you've tried to help will die. You fear resources are going to be extremely limited. You fear that the town will not be as safe as it once was. But you have at least kept most people here. As the evening comes to a close, how are you feeling, knowing that you have maybe achieved something with your words?
I have given them a chance at least. I hope I have helped Galliana. I feel so bad about leaving her here. How can I do that to her? But I must go, that is the only chance. Otherwise it's just this slow death and darkness. That is all that awaits otherwise. Yes, I must go. It's with me and Roshik now. We are the only ones who can do anything about this. Yet again.
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we played Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frostmaiden, for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. The music was created by Flowers for Body Snatchers, Ugasanye, Wordclock, and Metatron Omega, and was used with permission from their label Cryochamber. Check them out at cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel for more dark ambient. We would like to give massive thanks to our champions of the Red Moon, Martin Heuschober, Nastasia Raulerson, Simon Cooper, David, Julia, and David Hagberg for their generous support. And we would of course like to thank all of our other patrons. Without your support, this show would not be possible. If you want to support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can get access to bonus campaigns for Cult Divinity Lost and Coriolis there, as well as get early and raw access to all of our recordings. You can also hear your name read on the show as a champion of the Red Moon, as well as play Cult with us. Most importantly, that support is what keeps the show going, so do check us out there. May Lathander protect you and fill the world with light.